For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.
iDiskiTV, powered by World Sports Betting, iDiskiTimes.co.za. No, I wasn't wrong. In the right. There's no mistakes. There's no mistake. I know maybe you're expecting to see Ubobo, you're expecting to see Ulindo or Junior on my right hand side, but no. You're seeing Nkululeko Nkewu. Mr. Nkewu,
thank you very much, Shane. Say short and but desperate times calls for desperate measures. We don't have enough analysts like.
I forgot your queen.
I guess I just now I made us nomlomo. Sayibona Paula. Siqobela izandla manje phakani Shane. Manibulisa nami emadodeni wonke lapha ngaphakathi ekhaya. Bulisa nabahlali ekhaya. No, siqobela izandla bani Orlando Pirates. Ndiyacinga into yoba ibingumdlalo ubuza usoloko ulula for Orlando Pirates. Into ibalekile nje into yoba bebezaba professional kangakanani because bayibethile mos Lioli kwisiqingatha sokuqala we first leg umjikelo wokuqala 3-0 ngoku into bendizibuza yona kwayizolo into yoba ingaba iOrlando Pirates izawutshintsha abadlali na inika abanye abadlali ithuba sambona kuNdaba ku left back sambona Evidence Makgopa embindini webala uDenson sambona naye midfield sambona uSibisi yes ku backline so besiyazi into yoba mhlawumbi iOrlando Pirates izawusebenzisa lithuba inika abanye abadlali ithuba loba bakwazi badlala I think eyona nto ndifuna uyithetha mhlawumbi abantu abasibukele ekhaya that I want to give them a takeaway. We'll talk about the game, but I want to give people a takeaway maybe to think about this, and maybe people who are running CAF is that the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League last year, it was Orlando Pirates, it was Mamelodi Sundowns, it was Al Ahly, it was Pyramids, it was South Africa versus Egypt. And those four teams, in my opinion, I think they should be given a bye with preliminary rounds. We should they should be given. They must skip preliminary round yokuqala neyesibini bangene ku group stages. This is to protect the tournament, to say that there is no danger of Sundowns being out, Pirates being out, Pyramids being out, Al Ahly being out in the early stages. Normally, historically, they are always in anyways. They usually win 5-0, 6-0. The reason why I'm saying this is because we knew Guti Pirates is going to beat Lioli. If semi-final last season is inconvenient because anyways anyone can go to semi-final. I think the Chiefs went to the final after a very long time and they were never there afterwards. Then they can use the ranking because Bana ranking. There is a CAF ranking in the top 20. Take the top 4 and just drive them to group stages. What that will do is it will protect the best teams and you will have a tournament where there's no jeopardy. Even the UEFA does the same thing as well, to say that you don't have to play qualifying rounds. And I think the reason why I'm saying this even from an entertainment perspective is that when abantu bayahamba babhatala imali zabo baye ebaleni, but we knew that Pirates is better Lioli. And I'm not complaining about this. I'm just saying I'm always thinking about ideas. And from a perspective yebhola and ideas, I was thinking that, you know what, iSundowns na izawudlala or uba ibidlale ku preliminary round, we would know that they would have won 4-0 and 7-0 or 4-0 and 5-0 aggregate store. So even 4-0. There you go. Yabo Kwimbabane Swallows if I'm not mistaken. And Nani Pirates as well. It was the same thing. I think Orlando Pirates could have beaten Lioli by maybe 10-0 on aggregate. It was just a matter of in both of the first halves. Pirates first half first leg they scored no goal. First half, the second leg, they scored only one goal, and then they kept on, adding more goals in the second halves. So if they applied themselves a little bit more in the first halves, it could have been a 10-0 aggregate score. So that's literally what I would say to people at home. Maybe have this discussion and have these ideas. But otherwise, the game ended and started the way we expected it.
Now, let's get into the game, Mr. Nkewu. First half, as if we like game, quarterfinals or semi-finals where Orlando Pirates had won the first leg 3-0. Then Bagribe, first 45 minutes, 0-0. I understand that they scored the goal in the last kick of the game.
Sure.
I would say they did well by not conceding, but playing against Lioli, you'd expect they will go into half-time leading by 2 or 3, but they went into half-time leading by 1-0. But well,
I mean, in the first half, Makgopa was given an opportunity to be the main striker for Orlando Pirates, and of course, Mabasa on the bench, Mbutuma was given an opportunity as well. Good first half, we strong about Makgopa, but Nina Demzen, Nina Mbule, Nizakwanza Ndone midfield, Nalendwana Leo Muremi, and Orlando Pirates created opportunities. We caught a chance for Apolis. literally on the 6-yard area with no man marking him. He was supposed to score that. There were not too many opportunities for Orlando Pirates and for Lioli, but Pirates, of course, were the dominant team, as they should be the dominant team. There wasn't much. It was literally the last kick of the first half where Orlando Pirates scored a free kick. It was a beautiful free kick by Umuremi, and he scored that beautiful free kick. I loved it. I loved the placement of it, and I also like the fact that he is not a senior player at Pirates, but they were never jealous of him to be able to get an opportunity to take the free kick as well. In terms of the game itself, I suppose the way that Orlando Pirates applied themselves was based on the fact that already we are winning. Already we are 3-0 up, and maybe you could question the application in the first half, but you know that they're already winning, so they don't have anything to chase. Maybe it's about managing the game, and of course there were fans at the Orlando Stadium. It's always very difficult for visiting team there. One thing I was also looking at with Lioli, and I even mentioned it to you, that they've improved, but they still look so miles apart from the Orlando Pirates. So in as much as they've improved in so far as they were circulating the ball a little bit more, but still there were no shots at goal for China, who was replaced by Butelezi due to injury. There was nothing much that they were doing, but there was slight improvement in terms of ball circulation. But what I liked as well with the Pirates is that a lot of their game, they were feeding Apolis, and they were also feeding Umuremi, their wide players. And then Undaba as well was given the same thing that Uhoto has, which is on the left-hand side, Apolis comes inside, and Undaba gets an opportunity to put in those crosses. Although, because of the striker that they had, Umahopa, is never in position. And I think for me, the only criticism I could have, or something for Orlando Pirates to take away, would be that Apolis had opportunities. Umuremi had opportunities. It seems to me that Orlando Pirates attacking players who are behind the striker, they do a lot for themselves, but not for the striker. You know, so
you Pirates feel like they're not creating enough. For
exactly. The Pirates yapega. If you look at Isiwelele, Orlando Pirates against Isiwelele, Beizama ukupega, but they were not cooking for the striker. Namhlanje iyazama ukupheka Orlando Pirates, but the last ball before it becomes a goal kick or a save comes from an attacking midfielder or a winger, but not the striker. I can understand with Umahopa, because the difficulty is that you can't find him in the 18-yard area because most of the time he's always outside there. But I think what Orlando Pirates can improve, which is Sundowns also kind of improved it, at the beginning of the season, Sundowns was not cooking for Urenas. And people were asking, what about Urenas? And then now, I think he scored 5 goals in 7 matches because they realized, we need to cook for this guy. He's not going to create chances for himself. All of our attacking midfielders, our wingers, have to create opportunities for Urenas. Same thing with Mabasa, same thing with Umahopa. Orlando Pirates must create opportunities for the striker. And I think that's the only thing I could say is a negative from Orlando Pirates, is that the chances that they were creating were being created by midfielders to Apolis, and Apolis for himself to take a shot, to try and take a shot, or Umuremi to try and take a shot. But well done to Umuremi as well, because he scored a goal in the first half, a goal in the second half, although it was very comical, the second goal. I don't know what you thought about the second goal. It looks like
I think goalkeeper une account the All Sports Bet. Because come on. But Geshem, it's one of those days. It's one of those days we've seen those comical errors from one of the greatest goalkeepers. I remember 2011. MTN final, Pirates versus Chiefs. Itumeleng Khune opamanyisa. Anyone would have bet Itumeleng Khune ukuthi ayibambe la bhola part yaphunyuka ezandleni. So now keep ahlamba sinomblema kakhulu. But Mr. Nkewu, before sivale, Orlando Pirates last season, the Orlando Pirates this season. What have you identified from the Orlando Pirates this season? Ndoni umehluko obonayo ukuthi Orlando Pirates mhlawumbe slightly chintshile kwindawo ethile. Ephi indawo lo identify ukuthi Orlando Pirates ichintshile this season.
I think the target, Shane, with Pirates is that they were in the semi-finals last season. Anything less than a semi-final this season, CAF Champions League, will be seen as a failure. You know, I think the one thing I notice about them that's obvious is the depth. Because today, because they were leading 3-0 from the first leg, they used 4 or 5 players who were not playing the last time around. And that speaks to the depth, because last season, if you remember, the conversation was about Orlando Pirates, you're doing well, you're chasing Sundowns in the Betway Premiership, you're doing well in Africa, but what happens if Nkota is not there? What happens if Mufugeng is not there? Today, Mufugeng was not there, Moremi scores a brace. You know, some other players were never, Mabasa was not there, and someone, so Umbata, when he's not there, someone else is there. Mbule is playing, Damson is playing as well. Abanye abadlali baphakamisa izandla. So eyona nto ibalulekileyo nje ube nabadlali aboneleyo into xa unomonzakalo suspensions ukwazi ndoba unika abanye abadlali ithuba. So I think the biggest question as well from Orlando Pirates fans as well that they should start having a conversation about is a conversation in relation to can we then improve from semi-final to final or even winning it. And I think that will be the litmus test for Orlando Pirates. That's why even me, I'm pushing this idea that next year or in future editions of the Champions League, let's protect these teams and get them in the group stages. Don't even have a jeopardy for Al Ahly, Sundowns, the Pirates, Esperance de Tunis, and all of these big teams about pyramids based on the rankings. It doesn't have to be maybe previous top four last season. You can just say based on the rankings, we take these 4 teams and we put them in the group stages. But I think Orlando Pirates, for them, it's been 30 years since 1995 when Orlando Pirates were the first team in South Africa to win the CAF Champions League. And I think that if for the 30-year commemoration of that star, they can win another star, I'm pretty sure that the fans would be happy. And this is the next step to getting there. I suppose the question will be that the higher the level of opposition can they be able to achieve? Because they were supposed to beat Lioli today. However, the next time around, St. Elo is waiting or Almeric is waiting. Yeah. Now, Almeric is a big team in Sudan, St. Elo as well. They once played in the Vodacom Challenge. They won it in 2002 in South Africa. So it's a Congolese team. So one of those 2 teams are going to be playing Orlando Pirates in the next round. Yeah. Can they go past them and then you go to the group stages? Once you are there, then you can start dreaming again. Because Orlando Pirates is a big team. They were the first team in Southern Africa to win the Star. So for them, the mark should be winning the CAF Champions League.
Mr. Nkewu, thank you so much. If ngingakunika mic kungamnyama phandle mandiyithathe so far. Enkosi kakhulu Mr. Nkewu for your analysis. Namhlanje sibone something different. Sidla ngokupheka ipapa sifaka ama sometimes change sifaka stew ne beef but namhlanje besiphethe ibuffet because I had to bring Mr. Nkewu namhlanje as analyze ibhola.
Sure.
Orlando Stadium namhlanje bese Orlando Stadium where Orlando Pirates they've just progressed to another stage, not the group stages, another stage, preliminary rounds, where Mr. Nkewu has already said it is either Almeric or
St. Elo
Lupopo. Yes, one of the 2 teams. Then, if Orlando Pirates progress from there, then they are going straight to group stages. Namhlanje ke Orlando Pirates iphumelele ibetha ke team yangapha eLesotho. Hey,
and then Lioli or iDioli.
But iDioli.
There you go, you see, because Basotho have a strange relationship with the letter L. So sometimes it's D, the L is a D. But then if the L sometimes is a D, why is Lesotho and not Disotho? So they have a strange relationship with the letter L. So that's why I kept on saying Dioli. So it's what? It's Dioli.
It's Dioli, yeah. But I don't know. Some they understand. Sitavanga understand. Of course, L go to L.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching iDiski TV.
Shapunjani bafowethu igama lami uLindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiski TV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Vilakazi, they call me so. Niyazi bafowethu, Amakhosi for life, they are back in winning ways. Please, siyacela ukuthi subscribe iDiski TV.